If you are planning to use supporting information from your employer to prove your English language proficiency with the UK NMC rather than using IELTS or OET, this video is for you. Make sure all these boxes are checked before you make a move, otherwise you would waste your precious time. I'll leave the supporting information from your employer checklist in the description box, so if you want it, you can download it. You may be wondering, what at all is supporting information from an employer? Who qualifies to use supporting information from an employer? And what are the rules involved? How do you ask for one from your employer? Let's see. What is supporting information from employers? In simple terms, supporting information from employers is a way to nominate your employer to say to the UK NMC that you have been effectively communicating with your patients, work colleagues, and other service users, and that you don't need to write an English language test like IELTS or OET before joining their register. Who qualifies to use supporting information from an employer? According to the UK NMC, only two categories of people can use supporting information from employers. Number one, applicants who completed their pre-registration nursing or midwifery program in English, but in a country where English is not a majority spoken language. For example, countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and the like are considered non-majority English speaking countries. If your country isn't found on this list and you are an applicant, you qualify to use supporting information from employers. Number two, you qualify to use supporting information from employers if you wrote IELTS but missed the required score by 0.5 in one of the 4 domains, or if you wrote OET and missed half a grade in any one of the 4 language domains. For example, if you had an IELTS band score of 7 in the listening test, 6.5 in the reading test, 7 in the writing test, and then 7.5 in the speaking test, you qualify to use supporting information from your employer because you only missed 0.5 in the written test. Apart from that, the rest of the scores are good for UK NMC registration. Based on the two things I've talked about, if you think you qualify, congratulations. But wait, you need these shoes on top. Though you may have done your pre-registration nursing or midwifery program in English in a country that is considered to be a non-majority English-speaking country, if these rules do not apply to you, you can't use supporting information from your employer to prove your English language proficiency. The same thing applies to someone who made just 0.5 in one of the domains in IELTS or half a grade in just one module of the OET. You would have to write an English language test. Rule number 1, you must provide evidence that your course was taught and examined in English. Here, your school's transcript may be reliable evidence. I'll show you how to do it. Rule number 2, you must have worked in the UK in a non-registered role in a health and care setting. Some of the non-registered roles include care assistants, support workers, and the like. So if you belong to any of these groups, then you have met the second rule. These roles are considered non-registered because they do not have regulatory bodies like the registered nurses do. If you work in any of these roles, come close. Rule number 3, you must have worked with the same employer in a non-registered role such as care assistant, support worker, or the like in a health and care setting for the last 12 months or more at the point you submit your application. Rule number 4, you must have had the same line manager for at least 6 months as you worked in the non-registered role, whether as a support worker or a care assistant. However, the UK NMC will accept supporting information from up to 2 line managers to cover up 12 months of being with your employer. Rule number 5, your line manager should be an NHS band 6 or above to complete the form, which must be countersigned by another NMC registrant who is an NHS band 8A or above. And if you don't have any line manager as described, the one you have should hold a position equivalent to that of an NHS band 6 or above. The person you nominate to countersign must also have a position equivalent to NHS band 8. At this point, if you have checked all the boxes, then you qualify to use supporting information from your employer to prove your English language proficiency. Now, the very big question is, how do you ask your employer for supporting information? There are 2 phases to the UK NMC registration. The first phase ends when you make payment of your £140 evaluation fee. Now, during the second phase, you'll be required to provide an English proficiency evidence. Here, you can use an approved English language test like IELTS or OET. If you have not sat for any of these tests and you want to use supporting information from your employer, this is what you have to do. Select the second option that says training. You'll be asked to upload a certified copy of your training transcript to confirm if your training program was taught and examined in English. The transcript should also depict that your training was composed of at least 50% clinical interaction and at least 75% of the clinical interaction with patients, service users, their families, and other healthcare professionals took place in English. Unfortunately, if you trained in a non-majority English-speaking country, it's likely that your transcript won't satisfy the aforementioned criteria or requirements. So what would you do? Before we talk about what to do, listen to this. Hello, are you struggling with IELTS preparation? Are you looking forward to tapping into the practical video lessons on the reading, writing, listening, and the speaking test? Do you want to master how to answer 2 or 3 question types at a go? What I want to say is that Kobe's Masterclass has you covered if you have answered yes to all the aforementioned questions. Check in the description box of this video to join the class, or for further inquiries, use the email on the screen. Hope to see you there. If you trained in Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and then the like, these countries are considered to be non-majority English-speaking countries. An applicant's transcript may not meet the set criteria. According to the UK NMC, if you upload your transcript and it does not meet the set criteria, you'll be asked to provide further evidence from a senior member at your training institution. What you would have to do is to inform the head of your training institution. In Ghana, the head of your institution can be a principal if you attended a nursing training college, or a chancellor if you had your training at the university. Whoever the senior member is, she should well write a letter addressed to the UK NMC detailing how you met the 50% clinical interaction and stuff about the transcript you have. I have a piece of advice for you if you are from Ghana and you want to use your transcript for your UK NMC registration. Before you upload a scanned copy of your transcript, reach out to your training institution for a letter of reference regarding your transcript, okay? Explain this to your principal or chancellor to the point that she can write a detailed reference for you. Right after that, scan your transcript and then a letter of reference all together in one PDF and upload. I don't think it's nice just to upload your transcript, knowing very well that the NMC will come asking for further evidence. Add that evidence so that it fast tracks your application. Also understand that it's likely that all this evidence will not appear pleasing to the UK NMC and may ask you to sit for an English language test. However, because you know you meet the criteria and have uploaded your transcript and maybe an alternative evidence from your school, you will be asked to provide your line manager's name and NMC pin in the test box. If one of your line managers in the last 12 months has supervised you for less than 6 months, you can provide the name and NMC pin of one additional line manager to cover up the whole 12 months period. Also understand that both line managers must be a minimum of band 6 or non-NHS equivalent, as I explained earlier. Once you type their names and NMC pin in the text box, click on next. But my advice to you is that make sure that your line manager is aware of what you are doing and she has given you the go ahead to give out her details to the UK NMC. When the UK NMC receives your line manager's details, she will be asked to provide information through the link to the NMC online to confirm the direct experience of your English language proficiency. Here, the UK NMC will ask your line manager to assess your speaking and then listening competence. I believe that you have had massive value in this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and if you've got further questions with regards to the supporting information from employers, don't forget to leave that in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to hit the subscribe button and become part of the family. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye.